All right. So while I was, taking this break, I thought to myself, kind of, and I was actually brainstorming with Fred a little bit about what's next. Now I could go through some very intro level basics on copywriting and some of the things that you want to pay attention to, and I will, and I'll talk a little bit about that stuff. But let me get an idea. How many of you in this room have already been through my introductory level copywriting workshop, the virtual one that I did? You can raise your hand if you've already been through that. Okay, it's quite a few of you. So, what I'm gonna do now is talk a little bit about. I'm gonna talk about one basic concept, which again you've probably heard me talk about, some of you, and if you haven't, then this will be new. But it sets the base ground of every piece of copy you write. Okay, and that is, I talked a little bit about this before, but that is subconscious versus the conscious, right? So. Subconscious, I'm going to go over here because this projector is this fine? All right, a little bit, all right. The subconscious mind is where all the decisions are being made. Okay, it's not the conscious. The conscious is so what happens is people use the conscious to justify their purchase, but they use the subconscious to actually make their decision. Okay, so yes, your presentation has to appeal to the conscious as well, but that's pretty easy to do. When I create my slides in which I say this is worth this much, this is worth this much, this is worth this much, total value of this much, I'm doing the only thing that your conscious mind really needs. I'm showing you you're investing this much money, but you're getting this much back in return. So for you, it's a simple math problem. It's wow, I paid this much and I got this. It's the process of thinking you use every time you go to a sale. You find out there's a 20% off sale, you think perfect. I'm getting 20% more for my money than I usually would. That's a good deal. I'm going to do it. But behind the scenes, let's say, there's that new. Okay, I'm a watch guy. I love watches. So let's say there's this particular watch that I have my eye on. Like I'm dying right now to buy a Lange & Söhne watch one day, but I just can't justify spending $150,000 on a watch. So it's going to be a long day away. But let's say, but I have an emotional connection with this product, with the rarity of it, with the just how I want to say how unique it is, how hard it is to find someone with it, and it's handmade. For watch lovers, it's that ultimate. You got to have either a Lange & Söhne or a Patek Philippe, or you're at a different level of watch collector, right? I have all these. Those are subconscious feelings, this connection with the product, but I've not been able to justify buying it. So they're missing me out on the conscious, but I'm not their target audience. They don't care. They're justifying it all day long to the multi decamillionaires who say, well, no problem, right? But the day maybe I see an ad or I'm walking by somewhere and I see a $150,000 Lange & Söhne for $75,000. It'll never happen, but let's say there's a 50% off sale. I might very well bite, even though that's a lot of money. I still may not justify it, but my logical side would say, well, dude, you are immediately in 50%. You immediately have equity in that. It's actual investment. It's 50% off. You never get this deal again. So there's two sides of it. And a great copywriter spends 90% of their time in the subconscious and 10% of their time in the conscious. Okay? You're always talking to the part of the mind that the other person doesn't even know is doing all the decisions. Right? Remember I told you, sit right between the subconscious and the conscious. Interrupt that conversation before it even happens. Before a problem becomes a conscious level issue, interrupt it right down the middle. Okay? So examples of that. Would be like at the subconscious level, someone who needs to lose weight, right? Why do they want to lose weight? Yes, I think everybody wants to lose weight. That's why we call it a mass market. But if you're talking to an avatar of person are they obese? Do they need to lose weight because it's going to impact their health? Like they're potentially going to have diabetes, or they're trying to have back pain. It's interrupting the physical process of their life. Or do they just need to shed that last few pounds because they want to look better? Right? So that level of understanding is where the subconscious plays. Understanding why they want what they want. Okay, so for me, I teach internet marketing. I teach people how to make money. I teach copywriting, like how to have people learn to sell their products better. But if I was to sell you this program purely on the basis of you get to learn how to sell your product better. Yes, I'll catch a few people in my sales process, but if I can turn around and really understand, okay, why do you want to sell your product better? It's because she wants more financial security. She has a message. She wants to help more people, right? She's trying to provide for this. She's trying to provide. And if I can get one level deeper in and say, listen, I teach you the art of the written word and how it can help you make your dreams come true, how it can provide you financial security for your family, how you can take simple words and create financial security from them. Well, now I'm talking to a whole nother group of people. I'm talking to more people, and I'm really getting to the crux of why they want to learn to write. A lot of people, if I were to tell you, look, you should learn to be a great copywriter just because it's a good talent to have, right? So let's say I come to you and say, you should totally learn how to sell people face-to-face. You should be a public speaker. And you'll say, well, why? Well, because it's good. It's good to have that talent set in a business. Would you argue with me? Would anyone argue that it's a good talent set to have? No, right? But until I've told you why you better be good at it, you might argue, well, okay, yeah, but there's lots of things that are good to have. Do I really need to have that? And the truth is, unless I've justified it properly, it isn't. So that's how people look at copywriting. A lot of people look at, in my opinion, mistakenly look at it. They look at copywriting as, well, yeah, it's good to have. I mean, that's for people who want to sell really well. I'm happy just selling okay. I don't care. Right? But what they're missing is that, no, it's not actually. You're probably not even selling okay unless you've learned copywriting. So I gotta get underneath of that thought process. So the why is very important. You gotta know. And we will talk more specifically about the steps I go through when I create copy. I have actual steps I write down, things I go through, check boxes I go off through, especially if I'm writing for a new niche that I don't know anything about. But, so that point of subconscious versus conscious, keep that in mind, because anytime you sit down to write, you know what? I'm writing a book right now about copywriting. I'm working with a ghostwriter, and I'm probably his biggest pain in the butt, because everything he writes, I'm changing it, I'm ripping it apart. He's written one chapter 4 times now. 4 times. He's godsend because he does it. And he's, chapter 2, I opened it up and I'm like, ugh. And I already know the journey I have to take to get it to where I want it, so I've been avoiding it for the last 4 or 5 days. I've been busy. And he was just texting me during this break. He said, I'm waiting for chapter 2. And he's like, I already know what this means. And so he knows it's going to come back like with red marks everywhere. But I had a call with him a week ago and I said, listen, we know what the point of the book is. We understood what journey we want them to take as they read the book, where we want them to land up at the end of the book. But what we've missed is what's the point of each chapter. Each chapter has to have its own kind of, open and closed loop. It has to solve, if I'm going to get them to keep reading, I have to know, chapter 1, we're talking about my story. It's one thing to tell my story. It's another thing to tell my story with a point. So when we first wrote chapter 1, it had no point at the end of it. Really, it just told my story. Now the point that I know it's supposed to have is that if I can do it, anyone can do it. I'm supposed to position through chapter 1, I'm supposed to connect with you, I'm supposed to prove to you that I was the last person who should ever be a copywriter. Yet, I've gone on to sell $100 million worth of products through a talent that I was told I would never be able to do. I was told by my teacher to never write for a living. So that's a pretty, most people have a very close emotional connection with that story because you can't fathom a teacher telling somebody, hey, you can't do this, don't ever do this. And that drives emotion out of you. That tells you just, man, he must have really sucked for a teacher to tell him that. So great, I get you down to my level. Now the first rendition of the chapter we wrote and the second rendition of the chapter we wrote, would you believe that at no point in that chapter did I ever even mention that I've gone on to sell over $100 million worth of products using copywriting? It was a good chapter, it read well, it kept people's attention, but I don't make the main point. The main point is that look what they said and look what I'm doing. If I could do it, you can do it. And I'm going as blunt now at the end of the chapter to say, main point. This is what you're supposed to take away. So the same thing works in copy, right? What's the point of each part of your copy? Where does it get? When I read you off my breakdown of my webinar I did yesterday, I told you that first we went through we did the intro. Then we did the motivation. What was the point of the motivation? I told you I had a reason, I had a goal of the motivation. Then I went into my story. What was the point of my story? What was the goal for the story? Then I went into the 5 steps on the scribble pad. Why did I use scribble pad, and what was the point of that presentation? It was to get them to understand that, oh, this is kind of hard. It could be hard. It's simple, but it could be expensive. There's a lot of room for error. Then I did the demonstration of my Launchpad system. What's the point of that? The point of that is to say, guys, I removed the error points. Okay, then I went and did financial calculations. What's the point of that? The point of that is it's not hard. You don't have to be the next biggest marketer on the planet. You could be really average Joe and still make your financial goals come true. So every piece of that has a point, and those points, that's me talking to your subconscious mind. That's me addressing every concern as you hit them through my sales presentation.